wondered if he could maybe, it's a big number when you're looking at the 92 million or the 129 or whatever it is million. Those are huge numbers that are rather overwhelming from our vantage point here, and I think from the public's perspective as well. But perhaps you could comment on, in actuality, we really have a rather low liability compared to other entities that are out there. So if you could just talk in some generalities or specifics if you have them.
Yeah, I can, and it will be in generalities. I don't have any specific statistics here, but essentially limiting the benefit to pre-1998 retirees. This is where, well, we've had about 10 years of this now, and so if that hadn't been done 10 years ago, actually I could probably get, the number would be significantly bigger, multiple times bigger, and really that's due to limiting the eligibility. The benefits, I don't know, I can't speak to what specific medical coverage there was, say, 10 years ago, but in terms of the benefits that are being provided to retirees now and the contribution levels, those aren't affected. It's really all due to eligibility. And so what you see is, I want to look real quick. I should have looked before this, but I'd say easily, just based on how many active employees have been hired since '98, and that's easily in the hundreds. I mean, I don't know how many.
Current employees?
Yeah, current employee. Yeah, how many current employees do you have? Okay, 1,500, and we are. Is that what's in here? Okay, so if we looked at the active liability, one way to do this is if we looked at the active liability, and this exaggerates a little bit, but it's probably 2 or 3 times what we show as the active liability here. That's 43.5 million. So let's just say we doubled it to be a little conservative. That'd be another 40-something million of liability that you'd have. So it is considerably smaller than it would be otherwise. I hope I addressed your question or comment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brad, a question in regards to an item Mr. Melvin brought up. So the cost, as I understood your presentation, could be expanded up to 30 years, is that correct? To cover the unfunded part?
Our projection, we do project out that far. And we're projecting out all those. The 30 years that you're referring to from that really has to do with how do we spread these costs over time?
Right.
Do we spread it over a 30-year period or a 10-year period? And if we only spread it over a 10-year period, the costs are going to be higher. That's really what that refers to.
Yeah.
The fact, this is the whole pronouncement, this whole GASB issue GASB OPEB issue, has caused an uproar because of what it does to financial statements. And in the comment that a common comment is, why are you putting this liability in now? And the reality is the liability was always there. Now we're just measuring it. And recognizing it.
Now we're just honestly recognizing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, because we're being required to. Yeah.
Supervisor Pinchas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Delbarme was on the board, and that's been just 10 years ago when the decision was made to have the cutoff date of September 2008. It was something that was a tough decision. It was something that had to be done. But what it did probably most of all is it give employees that were hired before September of 2008, it gave them the security and the ability for this board to make a commitment to keep those benefits in place. If we wouldn't have made that decision, it was a decision that employees hired after September 2008 didn't like. But if we wouldn't have made that decision, we'd be sitting here today and basically after pre-September 2008 employees and coming for some take back. So I think it secured the pre-2008 employees' retirement benefits. So it was a tough decision, but it was one that had to be made, and I'm kind of really pleased to see where the actuarials isn't right now. It's something that doesn't really hit me in the face. It's something I think we can live with. But that was a tough decision that Supervisor Del Marmy was on the board had to make, but it was one that needed to be done.
Thank you. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To that note, referencing as Supervisor Pinchas has that decision, which was an action of the Board of Supervisors, and it's only stands as long as it isn't changed. So I would like council to sort of reference this with respect to Mr. Supervisor Pinch's comments and just sort of give us an overview on this.
Well, the board adopted a resolution in 1998 that talks about what they would do with respect to retiree health care. I'm not sure what went behind the decision with respect to the resolution, but the resolution does require the board to review this on an annual basis and review the numbers, which I don't believe has been done. And to the extent that the board could adopt a new resolution to deal with the benefits, I mean, that is a possibility.